Hello. I just created a meme that says the best gift you could ever give the people in your life is to love and respect yourself. And I wanted to talk about that because memes are great for putting the general idea out, but they fall short when there's no context given, or no further discussion or explanation. So I created the meme because it is something I believe to be true. I've seen it in my life to be true. So, yes, I want to talk about that. So, the best gift you could ever give the people in your life is to love and respect yourself. It's like the instructions they give you on the airplane. You know, if the oxygen masks fall down from the ceiling, please put yours on first before you try to help anyone else. Now, as someone who grew up in a codependent household and I learned to be codependent myself. Codependency is when you fixate on other people and their lives, and you're constantly trying to, you tell yourself and you tell them, I'm trying to help you. And you're trying to fix their problems, or you're cleaning up after them. And I'm not just talking about cleaning up the mess, the dinner dishes or whatever. I'm talking about the messes they make in their lives. We all fall into patterns and cycles in our lives because of the patterns and habits in our heads, the thoughts that are habitual, the thoughts that trip us up and cause us to self-sabotage over and over. And then we fall into self-pity and we're like, I don't know why this always happens to me, and things like that. So we also feel like we're not enough. We desire to be loved and accepted as we are. Every human does. But we think in codependency that we have to have another person, or we'll never know love, and we'll never know joy, and we'll never, please. If you don't own it, because it is there for you to lay hold of and possess in yourself. No one else can give that to you. The reason you feel like you're not enough is because the thoughts that you think. Maybe you were told, maybe you got the impression as you were growing up, my parents are fabulous parents. I'm so glad they're my parents. But they could only give me what they had themselves. They could only give what they possessed. So, they had developed some unhealthy patterns and behaviors in their thinking as well, and in their lives. And where did they get it from? Well, where we all get stuff from. I mean, some of these things it just comes in our heads. Some of it we have gathered these ways of thinking by what we've seen played out in life in front of us. And we try to get it right. We try to choose thoughts that we think are the right thoughts, that are going to keep us out of trouble or keep us safe from, I never want that to happen to me, so I'm going to. And a lot of these things we develop when we're children, and it works for us then. But here's the thing. We're always, or hopefully, healthy people are always living, learning, and growing. A friend of mine is always saying, it's better to be green and growing than to be ripe and rotten. And True story. Better to be green and growing than to become a stagnant pond. Have you ever smelled stagnant water? Have you ever? It's gross. It's disgusting. It doesn't nourish life at all. It's yucky. I suppose it's a good breeding ground for mosquitoes and things like that, but I don't want to pattern my life after that, you know? So anyway, the whole thing about loving ourselves, I was just thinking, I didn't know exactly how I was supposed to love myself. So I needed examples. And I got some of those examples through affirmations, because it was pointed out to me that, are you thinking these kind of thoughts where you're always judging and criticizing yourself and terrorizing yourself by speculating the worst case scenario, forecasting that for yourself, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so, then it was put to me like, you need to start loving yourself the way you have always needed to be loved. So you stop and think about that. And you think about experiences you've had in your life where you wished that when this happened, the people who were there would have loved you better. And they probably would have if they had known better, But here's the thing too. Life can hit you really fast and hard, and things happen so quickly, and when we don't know what to do about it, we just kind of shove the hurt down, and then it turns into something that festers and rots, and it's just kind of this stinky part of our lives. Whenever there's an area of our lives that we get stuck, in some way, and it starts to fester and rot, that area becomes like a stagnant body of water. There's no movement. There needs to be movement. There needs to be fresh air. There needs to be, get the gunk out, get the poison out, get the toxins out, okay? So learning to love yourself means committing to the work that you need to do to heal yourself. That can be pretty scary because some of us have some deep down, really painful memories and hurts that, go back to our childhood, and we're like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that? That's why I'm here, to encourage you. I know what to do about that. You can heal those places in yourself. And that is not only the greatest gift you could give yourself, to treat yourself as though you are worthy of this effort, to treat yourself as though you matter and what happened to you back then matters, because you have always been a valuable human being. You've always been valuable. You've always been enough. You've been good enough, worthy enough to be loved. Yes, you have. Yeah. So what I learned in my journey is nobody's going to come save you, Mars. And you've got all these pains and all these hurts and disappointments. And at the end of the day, why is that? It's because I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know that I could heal my life. I didn't realize how I was sabotaging myself. I didn't realize how my thoughts were setting me back instead of pushing me forward or lifting me up. We always get to choose. We have the power to choose our thoughts. And that is where everything begins. That, the thoughts you think, set your vibration. What do I mean, set your vibration? It sounds all new agey or whatever. No, think about a radio frequency. When you choose, I'd like to listen to jazz today. So you turn the dial on the radio to your favorite jazz station. And what do you hear? Do you hear classical music? No. Do you hear rock? No. You hear jazz, because you know that if you dial into that vibration, to that frequency, that's where your jazz station is. Likewise to any other, if you want to hear talk radio, if you want to hear whatever, you know how to dial it in. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about vibrations and your thoughts. And it's important what you think, and that you always get to choose, because you have the power, Dorothy. You know, like Dorothy in Wizard of Oz, she gets to the end of the movie and Glinda the Good Witch tells her, you've always had the power. You know, I think if I was Dorothy, I'd want to slap Glinda. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? I always had the power. I could have clicked my heels and gotten out of this shit. But you know what? We live and go through the journey we do for reasons, because there are lessons we need to learn. And, you know, I think most of my life, I had the impression that mistakes were horrible. They were absolutely awful. And, you know, Marcy, if you want to be loved and accepted, if you want to get it right, girl, you need to toe the line. You need to do exactly what you're supposed to do. And that's how I felt in my life. And when I started learning to love myself, and I started on this journey, started listening to people who were talking about breaking the patterns of self-sabotage and telling me that I had a choice, and talking to me like I was Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz and saying, girl, you see those shoes on your feet? Click your heels together and say there's no place like home and get there. You get to choose. You say the words, and that's going to take you where you want to go. Okay, look, in reality, no, you're not going to get to Kings Island or to Paris or to wherever, to becoming, a best-selling author, whatever it is that's your dream, that's your passion, is your desire. And really at the end of the day, what we all hunger and thirst for is love, acceptance, respect, to feel valued, and to know that we are heard, to be able to tap into peace and joy and really experience the pleasure of living this life. We can do that at any time. We have always had the power. And no, it doesn't come down to clicking our heels and saying there's no place like home. What it comes down to is choosing your thoughts, just like you choose the radio station you want to listen to. You tune in to that frequency and you get that station. So in your thought life, you need to tune in to the frequency you want. The key is fixing your mind, fixing your thoughts, fixing your heart on where you want to go. Do you want love? Do you want joy? Do you want peace? Then fix yourself, fix your thoughts in that direction. And it's not this hungry, wanting kind of thinking. That kind of thinking is, I want, I need. It's whiny, and it's coming from a place of, I never have enough. I'm telling you, you are enough, and you do have enough. You need to love and respect yourself enough that you do what you have to do to encourage yourself. I see people living out life and wondering why. Even in my own life, I experienced this in certain areas. there I would go through a stretch of time doing everything I knew to do, and then I'd be like, why am I coming right back around to this place where I am in desperate need of some answers and to fix this problem, and it's always the same thing. I keep coming back around to this. When you find yourself in that place, you clearly need to do something different. If what you're doing over and over and over and over and over do not get you the results you're looking for, you need to do something different. And I want to impress on you that this journey of learning to love yourself is worth every moment, every second, every ounce of energy you put into it, because the love and joy and peace that you want in your life, you have to open yourself to it. You have to tune your mind to it. You have to give yourself these things. You have to choose these things for yourself every day. So, you want to be loved and respected, begin treating yourself. And here's the key to this as well. There are two things that happen when you start to learn to love yourself. This is what I experienced personally, okay? And I saw it. I could see it happening. When I began speaking to myself, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. Why did I say that? Because it's what I wanted. I wanted to be loved and accepted exactly as I was. And since that's what I wanted, I chose it for myself. I chose to give myself that gift. Okay, this is what I want. And you know what? I'm going to give it to me. I am going to love and accept myself exactly as I am. Now, what is going to branch off of that? What ripple effects are going to happen? We teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to treat us. So, if you're disrespected in your life, stop teaching people that it's okay for them to treat you that way. And I'm not saying you need to confront them and say, hey, you don't da-da-da-da-da. What you do is you start treating yourself like you deserve better. You don't need to have big discussions with people. Look, I'm not letting you treat me like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because sometimes you do need to have those confrontational discussions. Most of the time, you need to make the shift yourself. You need to stop and think, wait a minute, does this person, if I tell them how I feel, are they going to listen? Have they listened the last 50 times you talked to them? Have they listened the last 3 times that you talked to them? 1, 2, 3, you're out. It shouldn't take 3 times. If you're talking to another adult who supposedly loves you, you know what I'm saying? You show yourself the love and respect you desire. And you let go of these people. Let go of these relationships that cause you pain. You don't have to completely shut them out of your lives or out of your life, but there are some people, yeah, you do. You need to cut them off and say goodbye and don't look back. Choose something better and you'll get something better. And I'm not talking about being nitpicky and critical of other people. I'm talking about looking at you. You look at yourself and get yourself together. If you're not feeling loved and respected, if you're not feeling supported and encouraged by the people around you, choose a different tribe. How do you do that? Tune into a new frequency. Start thinking different thoughts. That's what it begins with. It all begins with what you think. And you always get to choose what you think. Whatever pops in your head, you don't have to keep hold of it. You can stop and hold it, out here and really inspect it and ask it questions. Oh, really? Well, what about this? And really, what about that? That's one of the beautiful things about journaling. You can just really tear something apart and really chew over it and really see, does this work for me anymore? Maybe it worked for me when I was 8 years old, but now it doesn't hold water. Okay, well then, that's like, would you keep your clothes in hopes of wearing them again from when you were 8 years old? You're never going to wear those things again. I mean, who even knows if you could give them to another 8-year-old kid today, you know? Like, there are things in our lives we need to really look at, really question. And we need to be in a place that's willing to learn and grow. I remember, and I probably still do this sometimes, you know, your parents are always telling you things, and you get to a point where you're trying to show that you know. Yes, I've listened, I've learned, okay? I have. Look at what I'm doing. So that when they tell you things, or when anyone else tells you something, you react. You react, it's like this trigger thing. I know. But when you do your self-work, you need to hit the pause button on, I know, and ask yourself, do I really know? Maybe what I really need to do is listen and learn and find out. I need to find out. Google it. Go to Pinterest. I'm not saying everything you find on the internet is God's honest truth, you know, or whatever, or reliable. But it's not hard to figure it out. Either it works for you or it doesn't. And I just want to encourage you that this, first of all, you know, I talked about the things that will happen when you start learning to love yourself, that we teach people how to treat us. And so the ripple effect is that as you are learning to love yourself, you begin teaching the people around you, you need to have more respect for me than that, because I have more respect for me. And it doesn't have to be this confrontational, you know, intense, angry, whatever. It's just you begin choosing to handle things better. Like for me, I had to learn to confront things. And for instance, in a situation where someone early on in my journey, when someone was disrespecting me and they were trying to humiliate me and get rid of me, and I confronted it. I exposed what they did, but I didn't do it in a tattletale kind of way. I said to the other people that were in the loop, I said, you know, so-and-so talked to me about this, and I agree with her. This I'm concerned about this too. But here's what I think I need, you know. So what I'm telling you is I came with a solution. And it wasn't, I didn't lay blame on this person who truly was trying to humiliate and get rid of me. I didn't lay blame on her. I said, she voiced this concern to me, and I agree, it is a concern. And here's what I think the solution is. Problem solved. And little Miss So-and-so who did that, who tried to hurt me and get rid of me, her jaw hit the floor because she didn't think I was going to stand up for myself. I stood up for myself in that way because I was learning to love and respect myself. So that then taught her, okay, I'm going to have to handle Marcy differently because there's more to her than I thought there was. Okay, you know, it changed the way she interacted with me, and she did give me more respect after that. The other thing that happens is when you begin to love yourself and respect yourself, and you begin to fly free of what everyone else thinks, because you understand that no one else is living your life and it ain't their business. Likewise, what they're doing with their life isn't your business either, unless they make it your business somehow. But you know, a lot of the misery that goes on in our lives is because I'm nosing around in your life and I'm like, oh, that isn't right. They need to, I gotta fix that. I gotta say something. Do you? Do you really? Because probably not. Like probably 9 times out of 10, no. Mind your own business. You're not the one walking in their shoes, paying their bills, taking care of stuff. Well then, shush. Don't waste your energy. The other thing that happens when you start learning to love and respect yourself is you begin to fly free. And as you begin to fly free, you, by your lifestyle, are showing and teaching other people, hey, it's okay for you to be you. You ought to live true to yourself. You should learn to love yourself. Love yourself and be more respectful to yourself. You do have a voice. Use it. You shouldn't be treated like a rug that people wipe their feet on. No, you weren't made for that. As you begin doing this for yourself, without specifically saying the words, just by people seeing, you know, I started this journey of loving myself and I became my own fierce champion. I became my own best friend. And I let go of worrying over all the people-pleasing stuff that I had for all my life. I had shackled myself to what will so-and-so think if I do this? What will so-and-so think if I do that? I censored myself, I bit my tongue, I choked down my feelings and the words for so long. But when I began to break free, it was all because of love. Because I took the time and made the effort to learn to love myself, to change those bad habits of, I was so cruel to myself. I was so critical and judgmental. I mean, I could hardly breathe right. You know, I mean, the inner dialogue was horrible. It feels good though. You know, I'm not saying that I never do that anymore, but it's rare. It is rare. And I catch it really quickly. And that's what happens too. You start on this path and you're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna have days when you just fall into that old cycle of blah, 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 nah, 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 nah. And you run yourself down and you feel like shit. Okay, well, tomorrow's a new day, girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay, so you get yourself together. You know, if today was a shit day, then stop at the end of the day when you catch yourself and you're like, oh man, I did it again. I did this, and what I'm trying to live like this. I'm trying to keep, you know, my thoughts in this direction so that I'm uplifting and encouraging myself and moving myself forward. So that I, you know, you want to go, you want to feel the love and you want to feel the joy and you want to feel the peace. It is for you. It is for you and you can have it. And you don't have to wait for the stars to align or for every situation to be worked out just perfect. You can have it right now. So that's what the meme, you know, all these thoughts come when I post a meme like the greatest gift you could give the people in your life is to love and respect yourself. That's why. Because what you do matters. You make an impact in this world. Your life and the way you live it has ripple effects that touch other people's lives directly. Whether they're aware of it or not, it's not about that. It's about you living your highest and best. It's about you knowing peace and living your life as though you're worthy to breathe air and you're worthy of love, because you are. I don't know about you, but I lived most of my life hustling for my worthiness. I was so worried about what everybody else would think of me and whatever, and that is no way to live. That is scratching and clawing to survive. And we were made for more than that. We were made for love, to be an expression of love in this realm, in this earth place, and also to be loved. So yeah, it's a really good thing. It's made a huge difference in my life, and it truly has revolutionized my life. Loving myself has had great impact on me, and I know that it has affected the lives around me. And it's also taught people what is acceptable and what's not acceptable in their interaction with me. Because I love and respect myself, and I am my own best friend, and I am my own fierce champion. I'm not waiting for somebody to come and bring it to me. Look, you are set at a banquet table. These basic needs that you have, you can meet them. Get yourself up to the table and get some. You know how to feed yourself. You know how to, tie your shoes. Okay, well, you can do this self-care thing too. And yeah, I hope you do. And if you're on the journey, and I don't know, I hope that this has been helpful and encouraging, just to know, hey, that person has tried this too, and it can be done. Sometimes we just need to know that, oh, this is a real thing and it can be done. We can. Yeah, I am more at peace. I am happier now than I've ever been in my life, and it just keeps getting better. And it's not based on my circumstances. It's based on my choices. It's because I know that I always get to choose my thoughts. And that means I always get to choose how I respond to people and to events in my life. It's a powerful, powerful thing. And it does change, and it does improve our lives for the better. It changes our lives for the better. It improves your life. And especially, to be able to, when things are just crazy and you feel overwhelmed, to know the tools to bring yourself to a place of peace where you can calmly choose to respond to what is happening, to respond in the way you want to, not to live from a place where you're forced to react, So anyway, that's a lot of stuff, and that's what, yeah, all of that, I'm tacking that on to this little meme, and I wish you much love, much joy, much peace, and yeah, I'm here for you. So if you have questions or whatever, like, I don't understand loving yourself, what does it mean? Can you give me whatever? Yes, ask questions and I will help you to the best of my ability. Okay, I wish you well. Bye.